Welcome back to another episode of Tip It In, where we go over last week's tips and this week's tips, all for a huge prize, which I'll grab in a second. Let's get into it. So before we get into it, I'll show you that prize again. Merch is still available. Thank you to everyone who has ordered. It's the best way to support the channel. The links are down below. And this is what you will get if you finish first on the Swoop Tipping ESPN Footy Tips leaderboard. Oh, look how cool this is. So, signed by, I think this one's Bobby Hill here. Steel side bottom. So your Norm Smith medalist and the guy who kicked it 100 meters, our winning goal. This is absolutely beautiful. So if you finish first, you get this. So you can see down here my tips from last week. So I got 6 out of 8, which I did say I would be pretty happy with if I got 6 out of 8. So I'm stoked with that. We'll see who I got wrong a little bit later on. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to look through the current leaderboard. So first, I've jumped up a view of the ranks. I'm 583rd out of 940. I think I was in the 600s last week, which is amazing for me. I just want to get into top 250 and I'd be happy. But coming first is Dimmy_Papa, Drew's Pies, and Joseph227, who were all in the top 3 last week as well. So that's absolutely huge for them. So it feels like they're the ones that are going to be battling it out for the final spot. And if you can look at the total score here, they're all on the same total score. So what it's coming down to is the winning margin of that first game. So that's why picking the correct margin is paramount to your placing on the leaderboard. All right, so let's quickly look over my tips from last week and where I went wrong. Straight off the bat, I tipped Port Adelaide over Essendon. I really didn't think Essendon were going to win this. I tipped, what did I tip? I think I tipped Port by 16. So I tipped Port by 16, and that was just a shocking game, just in general. I'm happy that Essendon won, definitely. But I just thought Port were going to run over the top. They didn't. And of course, I tipped Melbourne. I looked back on my video because I was like, why the hell did I tip Melbourne for? Like, when Gold Coast have been playing so well. And, Melbourne got smashed by North Melbourne. And I was like, I said, there's no way they can go 0-3. There's no way they can lose at Melbourne to Gold Coast. And here we are. Everything else was correct except for that one. Those two really stuffed me up from a perfect week. But let's get to round 4. All right, so we start with the biggest game of the round. I'm tipping Collingwood, and in my preview that drops tomorrow, I said Collingwood by 27, so that's what we're going to put it as. If you look at the form guide, Carlton have lost the last 3. I'm surprised it's 91% to 9. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. So I'm surprised it's not 60-40-ish. Geelong, Melbourne. So this is at GMHBA. Geelong, if form is anything to go by, Geelong should win by 70 points. Because Melbourne look like they're now in a full rebuild. A game that I'm super excited for is Gold Coast and Adelaide. So this is at Metricon Stadium. People First Stadium now. It looks like the favourites here are the Suns, but Adelaide sitting second, 3 wins in a row, and they're looking really good. Adelaide are looking really, really good. But can we go past Gold Coast, who are one of the best defensive sides at the moment and one of the best attacking sides at the moment? It is at their home ground. They do play really well at their home ground. We're going to go the Suns. We're going to tip the Suns here. I'm feeling a perfect week. I'm feeling a perfect week at the moment. We'll go Brisbane Lions here. We're not going to talk really much about it. This North Sydney game is interesting. At Marvel, North, they get done by Adelaide, of course, as Sydney get their first win. If the North that played against Melbourne come out, they beat Sydney. But Sydney do have a really, really good side. I know I said I'm looking for a perfect week. I'm going to tip North Melbourne here. I just have a feeling that North are going to beat the Swannies. GWS Eagles, GWS all the way. 99% to 1%. Now, this game is another game I'm super excited for. Port Adelaide, St Kilda. So, Ports, obviously, they lose to Essendon. Saints have a really good win. It is against Richmond, but they've had 2 really good wins in a row now. It is at Adelaide Oval. I'm on the Saints bandwagon. I'm absolutely on the Saints bandwagon. So I'm going to be tipping the Saints here. I just think they get over the top of Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide have gone the same way that Melbourne are going, I feel. I know it's at Adelaide Oval, but I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correctly from what I know from Jake and stuff, from Saints TV, that the Saints do have a good record at Adelaide Oval. Or maybe I'm getting that wrong and they have a bad record there. But either way, I am really, really feeling a St Kilda win here, and again another nail into Port's coffin. Fremantle Doggies. The Doggies have been gallant these last couple of weeks. They nearly beat Collingwood. They beat Carlton right at the end with a decimated team, but Fremantle are starting to hit their straps a little bit now. They get rid of West Coast pretty convincingly. It's at Optus. I'm going to tip Fremantle here. I don't see it going any differently to there. And what we'll do is we'll submit the tips. Looks like, Essendon and Hawthorn have got a bye. And there we go. I think I did take a risk with the North Melbourne game and the St Kilda game, I think. But I'm feeling a strong 7 out of 8 here. I reckon it could be a sneaky 8 out of 8 perfect round to get me up the rankings a little bit. So my total score is 18. I'm ranked in the top 500,000, which is just shithouse. I want to be a little bit higher. My score of 6 out of 8 was in the bottom 45%. I know I'm starting to take a little bit of risks with the North, with the Saints game, but I really do think my gut is telling me that they're going to be the winners and no one's really going to tip them. So I am getting that. I'm manifesting a perfect week. But they're my tips. Leave down below where you're ranked in the tipping competition. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.